Hello students of class 7. We have already started the poem The Yarn of Nancy Bell, and we've seen that the naval officer is telling the story of the ship, the Nancy Bell, and he's saying that he's all things together, the cook, the captain, the mate of the Nancy brig, the bosun tide, the midshipmite, and the crew of the captain's gig. And then he goes, means when the poet further questions him, he tells him that this Nancy Bell, which had gone sailing the Indian seas, it struck the reef and then the ship was destroyed, and out of 77, all 67 were dead, drowned, and only 10 of them survived, and they were the captain, the cook, the naval officer, one who is telling this story, and then the mate of the Nancy brig, the bosun tide, the midshipmite, and the crew of the captain's gig. Now, they have also said that for 1 month they did not have anything. Okay, they survived. All 10 of them survived. But then they couldn't bear their hunger anymore. And when they could not bear their hunger anymore, they decided that they would eat each other. And it was decided by lottery as to who would be eaten first. And we have seen that it was the captain who was the first to go. The next lot fell to the Nancy's mate, and a delicate dish he made. Then our appetite with the midshipmite, we 7 survivors stayed. The bosun and the others are all murdered one by one. So then he says that after the captain came the Nancy's mate, and it was a very delicate dish. So we can understand it was not as delicious as the poet is trying to make. It's about a very serious thing, but he is just trying to lighten it up by speaking in a very light-hearted manner, by telling the story in a very light-hearted manner. And then he said that after this Nancy's mate, it was the turn of the midshipmite, and then all the others were murdered, killed one by one and eaten. And then only the cook and me was left. And the delicate question, which of us two goes to the kettle, arose, and we argued it out as sitch. Sitch is the old English. It stands for such. So then only the cook and the naval officer was remaining, and the argument between them was who should be the first to go, the cook or the naval officer. And for that, they had an argument. For I loved that cook as my brother, I did, and the cook he worshipped me. But we both would be blowed if we would either be stowed in the other chap's hold. You see, now a stowed means for future use, and so what they are saying is that it's not that they had any kind of ill feeling towards each other. They had a kind of brotherly feeling for each other, but in order to survive, somebody had to be dead, and who was it was the question. Um, Says he, "Dear James, to murder me were a foolish thing to do, for don't you see that I can't cook me while I can, that you can't cook me while I can and will cook you." So the cook said that since I am a cook, I know how to cook, but you don't know how to cook. So it's natural that you would be the next one to go. I will cook you and I'll eat you. So he boils the water and takes the salt and the pepper in portions true, which he never forget, and some chopped shallot and some sage and parsley too. So shallot is a kind of onions as given in your book. So he is trying to make that food tastier by adding a lot of spices and a lot of things to it. And he adds salt and everything, and he stirred it round and round and round, and he sniffed at the foaming froth. So he stirred it round and round, and then he sniffed at the foaming froth. So when you boil it, the froth, it becomes a froth, and then the smell comes out. So he was taking it this way. Then what happened? And I up with his heels and smothered his wheels. So all of a sudden, this naval officer came and held this person by the neck and lifted him up, and then he just choked him to death and put him in the boiling scum of boiling broth. And I eat that cook in a week or less, and as I eating be. So then after that I ate the cook, and for a week or so, and I was eating him in that way. The last of his chops, why I almost drops for a whistle inside a sea. So when I was almost only a few portions of his body was left to be eaten, which he refers to as chops, I saw that there was a vessel, a vessel to rescue me. So it says that the last of his chops, why I almost drops, and this I almost drops in the sense that he is very sad that when his friend was almost eaten, then he could see the vessel. He thought that if the vessel had come earlier, then both of them could be saved. And I never laugh, and I never smile. Laugh means laugh. And I never lark or play, that is, make fun or play. But I sit and croak, and a single joke I have, which is to say, "Oh, and the cook and the captain bold, and the mate of Nancy brig, and a bosom tight, and a midshipmite, and the crew of Nancy's gig." So he says that from that time on, I never laugh, I never make fun of everything, but I just sit and croak. Croak is like a frog, so I just go on repeating the same one thing over and over again, that I am everything, I am all together. The captain, the cook, the midshipmite, the mate of the Nancy brig, the bosom tight, and the crew of the captain's gig. So with this we come to the end of the poem. Hope you have understood it. Thanks.